Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. So I'm making a video here. There's a couple of reasons why. The first reason is earlier this week I passed over 500,000 views on my videos. And so I just wanted to thank everybody for all the support that you give me, for all the times you watch my videos and all the comments that you make on the videos and everything. That's just awesome. Like 500,000, that just blows me away. So it's funny, like it takes forever to get your first 1,000 views, and then less to take the next 1,000, and next thing you know, you're counting them in 10,000s, right? And now here we are, 500,000 views. So that's really cool, and I can't thank you enough. So anyway, let's move on. So we're looking at Global War version 3 here. I just want to share some thoughts that I had with you because I finally got a chance to play it. Now I did play test this game and everything, but it changed a lot since then, since the last time we did a play test in the summertime there. And also I have never played the 1939 starting setup. So in fact, I've never even set it up for 1939 before. I've always set it up for 1936, and I still think that's the good way to go if you have the time. But we set it up in 1939 because we knew that we weren't going to be able to play a full game. What we wanted to do, me and my group here in Prince George, was we wanted to get some play time in. Get some time where we were playing with like attacking each other and stuff like that, right? We didn't need that whole build up and everything. What we needed to experience the rules, and it was a good thing to do too because we were constantly sitting down at the computer because there's no rule books yet, so we have to get the computer out and how do we do that again, and how does that work? And plus we had my friend Morton on the phone from Denmark there, asking him rules questions and stuff like that. So we're trying to get as much of this stuff worked out as we can before the spring offensive next week. And so I just want to share some thoughts with you on the game. First of all, my first thought is I love this game. I knew I would, like I've raved about it already and stuff like that. But I knew that I was going to like it, and I do. I love it. I think it flows really nicely. It didn't really flow as quickly as it should have when we were playing because we were stopping and taking a good look at things and trying to figure out things. And plus one of the guys, he's working, and so he's going out and taking calls and coming back again. So we were having to take over for him. So a lot of the times there was just a couple of us playing the game, and it's hard to play the Axis when neither one of you are the Axis, right? So it's hard to care about that, but we did though because we wanted an honest game, an honest test of what we were doing. It didn't matter about winning or losing because we knew we weren't going to finish the game. So we've only played 3 turns, starting in the 1939 setup, and I'll just take you around the board slowly as I talk. So the big change that we noticed, and something that I absolutely love, is this 3-stage build queue here. We found that things were going on the board much faster, and that's what we really wanted, right? And things are cheaper too. Like you look at this battleship here, right? So in the 4-stage build queue, it'd be 5, 5, 5, 5. So $20 for that battleship. But in the 3-stage build queue, it's only 5, 5, 5. They don't up the money that you pay for a battleship per shot. They just make it quicker. So a battleship in this game, like a regular battleship, is only 15 IPP. Like you've got your other kinds of battleships too, right? There's a fast battleship and there's a heavy battleship, and they cost more. But again, it only costs like you only have to pay for it 3 times. And also when we play this game, one of my house rules is I've got a 16-sided die. And so there's 16 technologies there, right? So right off the bat, before the game even begins, we all roll to see who gets a technology, and you can see what was happened there. The improved construction, Italy, France, and Japan got it. So France is not going to be able to use it. Like they're just hoping that they get wartime economy or something that they can use because they're not long for the game. Everybody knows that, right? So what happens in improved construction is really interesting, and you could actually have a battleship built in 2 turns. So what happens is, like, let's say this battleship right here, okay? Let's say I've got improved construction and I set that battleship down. Or what I could do is I could make a choice. I could take $1 off per time. So instead of 5, 5, and 5, I could go 4, 4, 4, have a $12 battleship. Or I can pay $10 and put it on here, and then $5 to bring it over here. So I've got a battleship in 2 turns, right? And that goes for everything on the bill queue, right? You basically take the first 2 turns, lump them together, pay full price, and then you've got your 3rd turn, and then it goes on, right? So you're basically, okay, I want a battleship next turn, you can do that. You just have to pay 2 turns at once. So there's that, and also I think shipyards, yeah. So major and minor shipyards, the production limit increases. So I believe the major increases to eight units instead of 5, and then a minor shipyard like this one here, I think that's 3 instead of 1. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, that's another feature of the improved construction, and you'll find it in the rules just to confirm the exact numbers. But that's pretty cool. So one of the things, like one of the decisions that Japan made is another one of the new rules, and that is that you get dice for the technology to roll for technology based on how many major factories you have. So Japan started with 1 major factory on Tokyo, and I believe this one was a medium factory down here. I know it is in the 36 game anyway. So what the Japanese player what the Japanese decided to do in this game, because they had improved construction, they had to make a choice. They could put 2 major factories down on here, and then it would cost them less to do those major factories, or they could get them down faster. And if they got them down 1 turn faster, then they would get that roll, like actually 2 rolls, because there was 2 factories. They could get 2 rolls at the technology chart faster. So that was just one of the choices that they got to make, right? To get it for $3 less per factory. Is that better? So that's $6 that they saved, because what they did was they did it in 3 turns instead of 2. So they saved $6, but they lost 2 tech rolls because of it. So is $6 worth more than 2 tech rolls? That's just something that you decide for yourself, right? So that's cool. I like that. It introduces a really interesting dynamic in the game. One of the things here, let me just take you to the other side. I want to show you something. One of the things that it was a feature of the 1939 setup, and I've never played it, was France. When we looked at it, it did not look like Germany was set up enough to take Paris on the 1st turn. They might have been able to, like we didn't even try. He tried on the 2nd turn instead. So what that did was, and if you played this game before, some of the things haven't changed. So what that did was, France got the hell out of there with some of their units. Like you see here, this is France is dead now, right? Like Germany has taken over France. So, but they were able to get some of their units out. Like in the 36 game, they can't, because they're not at war with Germany, and neither is Britain. So they can't share spaces with the British. British are like neutrals to them. You can't fly over them. You can't occupy a space with them. Like you could occupy a sea zone, but I mean, you could do that with the Italians or the Germans or anybody. What you couldn't do was land on their territories, right? So by doing that, by starting at war with Germany, like you do in the 39 setup, but Germany doesn't have the wherewithal to do it. rather than defending with those units, and you know they're going to die anyway, we were able to take them out. Like this guy here came from Syria and he went down here. So France has an extra guy now. This guy here took a transport over. That transport has been scuttled now. He used to be here. So they were able to save themselves a few units. They saved this unit here. So there's 3 guys right there. There's 2 planes right there. They saved their seaplane. They started with a seaplane, so they saved that. And the other things were just stuff that they rolled for, right? The Vichy definitely got the better of the rolls when it came to Vichy or Free France. But the reason that doesn't work normally in a 36 game is because you could move that stuff out of France, like you could have moved these planes out of there, but then you've got to roll, right? So let's say you put them here. Well, is that going to be Free France, or is it going to be Vichy France? If you knew what it was going to be, if you knew that one of them was going to be Free France, you could move all the French units there, and then you would have French units to use for the rest of the game, right? But you don't know, and so you could be taking them out of the defense of Paris. In other words, units that could be taking off German units. You could have been doing that for nothing, right? Just to give them to the Vichy, who basically aren't going to do anything with them for the rest of the game, right? So by moving them onto British territory, they were safe because you still rolled for everything, but the Vichy didn't get, like the Vichy got this guy, you got this guy, but he couldn't get these 3 guys because they weren't on a French territory, right? So that was one of the differences with the 39 game. That was pretty interesting. Yeah, but just loving this new game. I'm looking forward to playing it from 1936 and building towards it. Like one of the things is we didn't get to do anything in Spain there because there's no Spanish Civil War, right? But there are some things like we're not sure with the spring offensive coming up next weekend what expansion sets we're going to be playing with, because they don't seem to be finished yet, even though they've been put out on the HBGA website for an update for the rules. They don't seem to be updated. Like this, we put this minor shipyard on there. Like I'd hoped that there would have been a minor shipyard in Canada on the map, but there wasn't. And then, okay, well, maybe there'll be a minor shipyard on the Canada War expansion set. And again, there wasn't. So that set makes that set kind of useless, right? This thing is actually down in this island down here. So that makes the Canada War set useless if you don't have a shipyard. So we just gave him a shipyard. You know, we didn't care. Like it was this game's not worth anything, right? The game that we're playing, it was just a practice game. We didn't play with Turkey at War this game, and we didn't play with any other expansion sets. We just wanted to throw the Canada one in there because we wanted to see how the whole war in the Atlantic went. And you can see these guys here, they're wondering where should we try to break through. Like there was some subs down there, but I managed to take care of them. But we're finding that the seaplanes are pretty darn handy, because you can go 2 spaces and attack a plane, and use the seaplane plus a destroyer, right? So you got 2 things that you can go after a submarine with, and so these seaplanes are actually pretty handy. And there's lots of them in the 1939 setup, but there are not many of them in the 1936 setup. In fact, I think the only one is that one down there for the Dutch, if I'm not mistaken. I had the 1936 setup done about a week or so ago. But anyway, like I said, lots of fun. Still wondering about some of the rules though, like the Russian was thinking about torching their factory and their base here and everything. So when we went and looked through the rules, this one here, sorry, it was this one. When we looked through the rules for Scorched Earth, there wasn't the rule where the conquering nation, which in this case was Germany, that they had to that they wouldn't be able to collect the income for it. So we don't know if that's an omission or like if it's a change in the game. So we're going to have to wait for things like that to find out, like did they just forget to put something like that in, or you know. So that's why we might not be playing with the expansion sets that we were playing, even though that one's a standard rule. We're not sure because their things haven't necessarily been changed, and if they have, we're not sure if they meant to change them or not. But still loving it, and this game is still very, very early in putting this game out. So not easy time to be be doing anything right now. Like we're finding that out with this coronavirus and trying to organize a tournament. But I can imagine trying to put out a game like this under those circumstances too would be really, really difficult. So we're not upset about it or anything. We're just, we're just kind of curious. That's all. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun playing with the new rules. We haven't had a chance yet because like the Americans are not at war yet with the Japanese. The British aren't at war with the Japanese yet. Just basically there's war going on in Europe right now, and war going on between the Japanese and the Chinese. The Italians are not at war yet. So we haven't had too much naval play yet. Like we haven't been able to use the screening forces yet. And I don't have to pack this game up for a couple more days, so I might just continue to play this by myself just to get a better sense of how it goes. Like here we are here. We're only in January of 1941 right now. So, and the Americans, it's taken them forever. The first couple of rolls really sucked. So they're only at 41 right now. But the Japanese player told me, like, if we were going to continue on, he says he wants to attack the Dutch next. So that's going to give the Americans a couple of extra dice, plus their dice roll on this next turn. So 3 dice rolls, and they should be getting closer to being at war at that point. Maybe by the end of this next year, they will be at war. And then I can get into playing with the screening forces and stuff like that. Anyway, really cool, really, really neat. But just scratching the surface so far because we're near the start of the game. But it was neat taking out France and solving it all and everything and seeing how that worked, and looking forward to playing a full game. And Zach here, they're building up pretty good actually. I've discovered that sending stuff down from the Americans there is working out really well. Like, because we started in 1939, the Americans got a roll right off the bat. Plus something else happened in their income. Actually, their income starts at 16. So even though it's not on the reference sheet, I believe it's at 15 that they should be able to lend lease. They've been lend leasing stuff down here the whole time, and they're actually Anzac's doing pretty good, right? They're not at war yet, so between Anzac buying stuff, and Anzac is at war too, they're at war with Germany, so they're at their wartime income. Between them and the Americans lend leasing the unit down that can't be stopped because they're not at war with Japan, so Japan can't interdict anything. They're actually doing pretty good down here. So that strategy is working out pretty well for them. Anyway, not much more to talk about. Just wanted to show you how things are going and tell you that things are going pretty good up here. We're trying to weather this little pandemic thing as best we can, and we're pretty much ready. Like, I've got to pack all this stuff up here and take it up to Panzer King's house so that we have 2 tables. We might not have the full complement of players, so I might not be taking all this stuff up. Like, if we only get let's say 6 or 7 guys come, then we're only going to need 1 table, right? But we're hoping that we get more than that. We hope we get 8 or 9 guys, and then we can have 2 tables, and then I'll be packing all this stuff up and taking it up there. So thanks again for watching my videos and pushing me up over 500,000 views. That's awesome, and I'm gonna let you go for now, but I'll be putting out more videos this week. Well, you know what? Before I let you go, I'm gonna show you one thing. I'll give you a little tidbit. We were talking with Morton on the phone yesterday, and he was giving us a rule thing because we needed a clarification. So you look here. There was something else here. It was a tank or something that was here, and no planes, right? So the British have their bomber here, and I thought, well, I might as well carpet bomb those guys because there's tons of planes in here for Germany. They've lost a few since the game started, but tons of planes. But what I was wondering was, here, let me just set this down. What I was wondering was, could I come in here and carpet bomb these guys without the fighter being able to scramble over here? Because one of the new rules in 36, of course, is the fact that there is an air base here, so that allows you to scramble 3 fighters, not just in a C zone like you're used to, but into the zone next to you. And that was only an optional rule in V2, right? But that's a rule in V3. I mean, you don't have to play with that rule if you don't want to. You can make it an optional rule, but we were playing with it, and because if this fighter was in this territory here, that would just be interception. Like the fighter wouldn't go up and fight at 6 like they attack and defend at 6. He would just be using his interception value, which is 3, and the bomber's interception value is 1. So they have a 1-round fight there, and then this guy gets to drop his bombs, right? But I was wondering, like, do they get to do that? Like, can you scramble into a situation like a strategic bombing raid? So whether it's this or whether I was bombing a factory, the answer is yes. You can scramble a fighter into the territory from an air base into an adjacent territory, even just to do interception combat, not just to do regular combat. So in case you were wondering about that from the rules, I just thought I'd share that with you. These are the kind of things that we're trying to get. Here, let me put this back before I forget. These are the kind of things that we're trying to get clarified, is things like that, right? So, nice little tidbit for you there. Anyway, again, thanks for the 500,000 views, and that's all I got today. So, take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.